about, maybe I will come back to this later, why product fail. All those things Pastor Chion told us about your costing. How profitable are you? If you have some, 3 days ago, I was with a company, myself and one of my senior colleagues. We were holding a strategy time with them. I said, look, your main products, which is like your mainstay, what is the sourcing? He said, most of our product is 99% imported. I said, that means I don't envy your organization. I said, okay. How many percentage is the local content? I said, I mean financial, when you do the costing of each of them. He said 99 and 1% local. Do you have alternative? What can you do locally? Because very soon you may not have any business. You may not. Because already you are already boxed. You have so many factors that you don't have control over. Forex, the FX fluctuation is crazy. You can't, and they tell you that what they publish and how you get dollars, they are not the same thing. Some people are saying it's Aboki FX. Before Aboki FX, has it been easy? So these are the factors. You look at it. Then your product marketing is important. We have talked about product strategy. We have talked about product development, how you can go about it. And I mentioned the fact that there's, this interesting storyline. And about, I'm sure you have heard it before. Somebody that went to another town, and when he got there and discovered that they are not wearing shoes. Why himself and his friend, one person came back and said, oh, what a huge opportunity. They don't know anything about shoes. Then it's a big market for us. Why the other one said, what an error. Why have you brought me here? They don't know anything about shoes. We're not going to sell. So, is perspective, attitude. These are the things that is not written. But that determines. If you have a business and you are afraid to go and push, nobody that will go to Calvary for you. Jesus Christ has died for all of us. Nobody is willing to die for another person. So for your product, you need to be shameless. Any product that you cannot, you are still very, very civil about. You don't want them to associate. You are selling, I saw somebody selling Pomo, package it, and was going from offices to offices. And people are saying, she was not ashamed. The day you started being ashamed about what you sell, forget it. Somebody gave me told me at a point that there was a job, big job and a big offer to work in beauty. I said, it doesn't align with my faith. I'm not trying to be religious. It is just because I'm passionate about what I do. I say I can't be somewhere and you won't know that I'm there. Okay, now I will climb pulpit on Sunday. During the week, I'm crawling from one joint to the other, telling them, drink beer, it is good for your head. Is that not what you do? As a brand person, you are crazy. When I was doing water, my wife would not buy another water. That is how. I think you got some salary in here. They dare not. In fact, it's now. In fact, she doesn't take any oil apart from ground oil then. Even up till now. So sometimes jokingly, when they now give us kings, they say, they lose you. And you Baba brand. money, free. But the day I started getting a brief from them, my loyalty, my shift too. So, and I said, I'm that. Even at home, they will know. So, will I now go on Sunday? I will now say, and you are enjoy. Because the Bible says, I'm a Martin. What are you? You are going to be contradicting yourself. Your life is one. You can't compartmentalize your life. You can see as I'm talking, I'm passionate about what I'm saying. It's just in me. Picnic is in you. So whatever brand you want to sell, it should be in you. When they are forcing you to do a product, no matter how much your friends are making from that product, until it's in you, you cannot succeed. That is a passion that you go with it. You compel everybody around you. You tell them. They said that you come and do all these products, all these things they do. Forever living products. I said, yeah, then the multi-level marketing. They will tell you, I say, look, I feel like I can't do it. Because if the thing enter me now, everybody in my house will know, they won't sleep. I can pour water on anybody to do. This is the direction all of us are going. What am I saying? I'm not painting an extremist picture. But your product is like your baby. Take it that way. Be passionate about it. Let your other name be Mama Oats. Today, remember sister, you're not going to allow us rest. Yes, that is it. And I want us to. So now, how do we, smart way of growing your business? One, today's things are changing. The cost of doing business may be high. Some of us that are coming up may not have such level of money. One of the ways is what we call hierarchical relationship. You can be part of a flow, vertical integration and whatever. So that will help you in a way. It helps you to be able to, a lot of organizations, like, okay, if you are supplying a chain, be part of that chain. So that even when ideas that has to do with your own bit is coming, they come to you. Collaboration and partnership is what is the new thing in the world. Every business has point of convergence. There is a way you interact with others in your industry. You can't deny that. Don't be a loner. Then, joint venture. People are afraid of joint venture nowadays, but you need to. There are some things you can collaborate with others. There are different business models. Our own business, there are three parts to our business. We do market research. We do experiential marketing. We do training. And in each of those three parts, there are a lot of times we do branding, but over time, I've discovered that we just be struggling with the graphic artist. So you just struggle with them, and you won't get anything. So I've stepped down on that. I'll give it to somebody to go and do. So I'll face this other one. But you need to collaborate with others. What is happening? Sometimes you may need to help others to bake a bigger cake so that you can share. If you are looking for ingredients alone, you may not have enough money. So let somebody supply the margarine, bake bigger cake, and so that both of you can share it. So it's good. So, and that is why we are believers. Hey, we have faith. We must be able to be brothers to ourselves. We should go beyond the fact that money separates people. Must we separate Christians too? Lay it on. part of what we do, we are into farming. And when we're going to it, I called some friends. Let's do this stuff together. And we're doing it. And the moment we have account, at the end of the year, we share the profits. I don't have to be there 2-4-7. Somebody had more than enough time. I had contacts because I work in agro-allied. So you need fertilizer, I call. Fertilizer. You have seed, I call. So I was providing the network. And when we needed to sell, and the people were saying, Oyebe already, I pick my phone. Just, so there and there, I told them, Just is selling, Kano is selling, company is selling this. This is what we are going to sell. And we made over, on 1 ton, we made an extra of 25,000, which we could have lost for lack of knowledge. So it was symbiotic. So we should see that. We have IT guys here who says you can't develop apps. We can't do something together. I have a common app that all of you can advertise. It is time for us to be able to put resources together. Let's not thin ourselves out. And you put condition so that people follow it. And let's run away from all this. Those other guys, they are taking advantage of this and they are growing. So where we call ourselves, we pray in tongues, we do all, when it has to do with business, everybody is playing solo. Praise the Lord. So equity investment. Do you want to invest? You may not want to go all the way. Somebody came up with an idea sometime. They say, I should help them develop strategy for some things. And after developing that strategy, they say, how much is your money? I say, I don't want money. Give me part of the share. Because I knew all the while I did in setting up the things for them. I did the strategy, do whatever. There's something we call equity positioning statement. I came up with that. And when I was presenting, the man said, you have put thoughts into what was that scattered in my mind. What about me aggregated? And the man was happy. So, give me as equity. Okay, we'll give you 10%. Yes, good. So, equity investment. What do you want to? If a business is doing well, why don't you? If you are doing well, give your don't alone take all the risk. Share that and let others, let them invest in it. And all of you can become stakeholders. We are looking at it because you are still small, because you are going to be big. You will be big. And it will come to a point that you can't do it, me and my wife. And you can't do it in your room alone. It's going to blow. Because God is out to increase us. He's going to enlarge us. He said, by prosperity, my city is spread abroad. That's what the scripture says. So, then cooperative, R&D, consortia. Some, you can do research on some things and you sell it as patent. And you have some investment. These are smart ways people do nowadays. Strategic cooperative agreements. You have strategic alliances. This is what part I will bring into it. You don't need to have all the resources. Like Pastor Shane was saying, a lawyer was doing some stuff for him. He's not employing lawyer full time now. He's not employing accountants. In fact, in my office, that is what we do. We're sharing office with some guys, and we had that free asset. When you come to my office, you think all the people are my staff. We had that understanding. You think all of them are in my staff. You come in, we have the lobby, and anybody. In fact, if I have meetings that I need to go to my partner's office to use, I will go there and I will sit. And when he has whatever too that needs to spill over to my office, he comes. They have key to my office. They open and they do whatever they need to do. He's on trust. And when I'm having meeting, his boys, I will just call them. They are architects. I will call them. This, when you want to impress your new clients, and you are just calling names. You are just calling names. What are they doing? It's increasing your profile. So, and we have that flow, fluidity. And everybody does that. So please, you need to actually think out of the box and sometimes break the box. So then, Then franchising. What is working in another clime that you need to bring? You don't have to reinvent the wheel. There was a time, this funny thing. We're trying to launch a carbonated soft drinks in one of when I was in water business. I was doing design, and it was to and fro, and we need to present to the board. And the day we were to present, and I brought all the whatever, I checked. As I was presenting, sweating, I couldn't make an headway. The group MD just walked to me. He said, Deji, why are you reinventing the wheel? I look at him. What do you mean? He said, go and bring Coca-Cola. Go and bring whatever. And bring them. Send it to them. Come photocopy. Let them. He said he used a word. He said a good artist copy. A great artist. No, he said a great artist copy and twist. So by the time he goes back to the owner, he won't even know that he's the owner. You won't know. He said, so you are he said, look, why are you struggling? Whatever. Coca-Cola has done it. All of them have done. Get their label, send it to the guy, and let them change something and twist it. That's all. In less than 2 weeks, what we have been struggling with for 6 months, 2 weeks, we got a design. And all the board members will say, wow, wow, wow. Others have done it. It is called a pathway because others have passed. That's why the Bible says that the word of God is a path, is a light unto my feet, and a path. It is called pathway because others have gone. So why will you kill yourself? Then licensing. You can be a licensee of another subcontract. You can get some job that you don't have all that it takes. Get others to do for you. And take your cut and let them do it perfectly. You may not make all the money, but you make the good name. And that can see in you more. Subcontract. You don't have to kill yourself to bring everybody to do it. They are doing it already. Tell them, Agbasheni, Oye, bye, whatever, and you get your cut. You sit at home, and you are the one that is going to present. They will do it for you, and they will be willing because they are not using that capacity before. Instead of you starting a new company, why don't you get an organization that is running it that don't have sufficient capacity? They will do it for you, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour. They've run your own show, and they've given you back to you. So, wow. All right, I need to move now because of... Sorry, Pastor, I've delayed you. Okay, pricing. It is very important. How much are you going to charge? That is one of the most important questions. You don't know what? We have element of marketing mix. Can anybody... Have you heard of that before? Element of marketing mix. How many people have heard before? Okay, they call it element of marketing mix. Number 1 is product. Number 2, they call it the piece of marketing. Place, promotion is 7 now. Some people call 7, some people call 13, some people call 15. In fact, some people put P, prayer. They have added it to the P. So you must add that to your own as a Christian. So it's part of the piece. So then pricing. Every other piece takes money away from the organization. It's only the price that brings money. And every other one, you need to sit down to do product. Your price is something you sit down. It's only pencil or barrel that you use to change price. And that determines how far. So what is your company objective based on the financial objective of the organization? There are some business you say, look, if I'm not making a margin, and that's why you must be able to have your costing. The costing of what you do and the costing of what each product costs. What does it cost me to produce one bottle? You must know it. So, and use that. Then, what is your marketing objective? Fine. You will say you are just starting. You want to penetrate. So you are just bringing small, whatever. Fine. And some areas you get to, if you don't call big price, they won't take you serious. And that is the power of pricing. Pricing affects perception. The moment you price yourself too low in some climb, they feel it's substandard. So you need to actually understand the people that you are targeting, then the demand consideration. When the price, demand and supply. When the price is, the people are making a lot of demand, wait and ask. Maybe one raw material has increased and you are not aware and you have already given all of them. Go to the market and check. It's an opportunity. Then your costing. What are the input elements? And what is your competition selling? You can't say, because my cost is too high, I'm going to, based on that, my price will be here. Price you will soon leave the market. All right, so goodness. Pastor Shin has talked about all this. How do you identify things that destroy your brand? Destroy profitability of your portfolio is very important. So when your brand that cannot cover variable costs, when your costing, your price cannot cover variable costs, you know you are in for trouble. When you cannot cover minimum profitability requirements, you know you are in for. You are not just selling for activity's sake. You are selling to make money. Then, how do you increase your product profitability? Do higher volume. When you generate higher volume, that is what they call economic of scale. So, Pastor Shane was talking about scalability when he was talking about B2C, B2B. Higher margin. Look for alternative. You can get alternative that is cheaper. Getting the alternative may mean going further in. Some places where we get our raw materials, if you go to Balogun, my wife was telling me, say, you can buy something at so price. When you move further down, it will be cheaper. So what's wrong with your leg? go further down. And get, sir? Yes, you are young and you are not. Well, when are you going to? Somebody was working with me. He said it's because of rain. When he told you about when you are young, let the rain beat you. Are you sort? So better asset utilization. Use your asset, your brand strength, technology. When you need to introduce technology, it will help you. It will help you. It will ease things for you. And then when you need to increase price, don't be religious about it. Step up and increase your price. As much as I agree with the father, you should not be too crazy, cheating people, but at the same time, don't shortchange yourself. There are some things we do when you are running cottage industry that you don't consider. You don't consider your own labor. You don't consider the labor of your children. You don't consider the people that are your car, your husband's car that they are used in delivering. And they now bring whatever. To repay spend kini, products and kini kan, to make 30 naira. I shame you try. So if you are not costing your own salary, you are not paying yourself. So do your costing very well for benchmarking purpose. So benefit or cost efficiency will help you. I must stop. So the consumer is key, and marketing is the responsibility of everybody. With these very few points of mine. All right. God bless you. Thank you so much. If I spend longer than expected, you caused it. All right. Pastor Emabinu, sincere apologies.
I learned a lot. I learned a whole lot from that.
All right. So question, you can just aggregate your questions together.
Hello. All right. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, that's a very, a very good response. All right, I will be very, very sharp. I learned a lot from Pastor Deji's presentation. So I will be very, very. In fact, I have just 6 slides. That will be interesting to you. All right. So after you have developed, yeah, questions after this. Okay, so do I need to tell you my profile? You already know my profile. All right. Okay, you know my profile spiritually. Okay, in the business world, I've been privileged to be mentored, to have been mentored by Pastor Sean a lot. I can remember when I first got to Lagos, and I was looking for guarantors when I started my job with GSK. He was my guarantor. I mean, he still filled that form for me, and when I finished my NYC, I came to Lagos. I didn't have a house, obviously. I mean, so I was staying with him in Abraham Adesanya. So he has mentored me a lot in these things. And so when I needed to write my first CV, he wrote it for me. The same thing for my wife. So we've been very, 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 very close. So, well, okay, I worked with GSK for 12 years. Went from sales rep to sales manager to group product manager, marketing manager, and so on and so forth, and channel distribution manager, and so on and so forth. So I left GSK, and it was a very strong advocate of that. I can remember we were in the car that night, and I was, this GSK, I want to leave, this, I'll get another place. And they say, have you considered this? Have you considered this? Huh? Well, then the day I called him, he was, Glory, you've left. He said, yes, you've left now. He was so Then I needed to start writing proposals. Hey, let me give you, and so on. Well, it's been working. Yeah, it's been working. And so. But today I want to just tell you, okay, yeah, I'm a managing director of a company, a major distribution company in Nigeria. So that's part of what I do. Okay, so selling skills. So let's talk about selling. I also consult. She knows that because we've worked together on a project. And I hope you didn't see how much they paid me so that you know. That wasn't the amount they paid me. Because I know you're a very sharp girl. That was how much I proposed, but they paid me a third of that. Yeah, so all right. But I know she was learning a lot, I must commend her. So I've consulted for any major pharma chain, in Nigeria. I've, worked with them. And we're still growing and expanding. So I also do podcasting. Yes, and our podcast is being aired in over 15 countries of the world. So I also consult for a company in Germany, and so we are expanding. Okay. All right, selling skills. This was something I got from GSK, and whatever you get from GSK is good. Why? Because there's a lot of research they do before they say this is the way. And I've compared this with what Novartis does, well, and I've known that there's a reason they go through these steps. So you don't just go out there. On record, only 20% of calls that are made by sales rep, are converted into sales. That's sad because almost every company has reps. Everybody was rep. So there are some calls that are called high impact. Okay? By the time you can get 7 out of 10 people convinced of what you're selling, then you're a super person. Usually the average is 50. And the reason is many don't know how to go about it. The fact that you have a product will not sell itself. So I'm happy when he was talking about the features, the attributes, and the benefits. Okay? We have reps that will go and meet a doctor and they'll start reciting everything their product can do. And the doctor is already bored. You say, just drop what you That's the end of the conversation. So before you sell, there are 6 steps, okay? The first step is, even before you start anything, plan the call. What do you know about the customer? What do you know about this person you want to talk to about your product? So you need to do that research on yourself. There are some customers that are very busy. You don't see them all the time. Even now, I know that there are some customers I can't talk to anyhow, because it's not as if they don't want to pick your call, but they are so busy. So there are busy people. There are some less busy people, and if he's busy, that means everybody is going to him. So you must know what you want to say. You want to be concise. And the reason many fail in calls is they never plan the call. So they just run into somebody and it doesn't work. So the pre-call planning means that you already have a segment. Now that's part of marketing. He couldn't touch that, but not everybody is your customer. Okay? So you must know who you are talking to, and you must choose what you want to sell to the person. There's something like they call, you want to sell snow to an Eskimo. He lives inside snow, so what are you talking about? Okay? I always use this example. My first product I did in GSK as a rep was Levitra. Levitra is the brother of Viagra, the GSK version. So when the product manager came and said, so you guys will be going to psychiatrist. I said, a product for erectile dysfunction and psychiatrist? I didn't get it. Until when we did the product training, now told us that when psychiatrists prescribe some set of products, those products cause side effects of the man not being able to have erection. So you know what that did for me? Instead of going to a GP's office where you are sitting down before you see the man, then you now detail him and he says, why it's too expensive? Because those were expensive products. As at that time, 4,500. As at that time, for 2 tablets. So you can imagine. So the smartest thing we did was just go to a psychiatrist who already has a patient. When you go to a general practitioner, you are trying to convince him that, you see, some men don't believe in this. Well, the men I see, some of them, but this, they are already ready-made. Out of 10 patients he sees, 8 of them already have this problem. So I made my best sales when I went to take a trip from Ibadan to Ilorin and just go and detail that man. He has a very big psychiatry hospital. In fact, he has the Were Tutu kind of people. Then he has a gentle one. One day I took my female colleague, let's go there together. When they saw a girl, I had to go and sit down in the car. But that man, how many did you bring today? I was just meeting my Levitra targets for that territory. Why? Because I just went to the right people. So the first thing is you have to plan your call. Know the people that you are sent to. Your product is not for everybody. Is that clear? So the pre-call planning means you segment. You already know what you want to say. You know how you are opening the call. You know the questions you want to ask, and you know the commitment you are asking for. So let's leave the planning. Let's go on to this. Okay? So guide me now. How do I change? All right, so the next one is you open the call. How do you open the call? There's something called total practice call. So you don't bump into a customer and you say, my product. No. Find out about the man's, maybe carrying a very expensive purse. Wow, I like your purse, man. This, general, you begin to find out so many things about the person. Of course, you must have known the customer before you go there. All right? Well, I don't do football, so I know some people are Chelsea, some people. So if you know that, well, I'm using doctor because that's what we are used to, but whoever. Okay? So you know your doctor is a Chelsea fan. Don't go and be talking back at, and then you're already clashing. Even before you start selling. Because you never did the pre-call, so you don't even know who you're talking to. Okay? So that's total practice. As you are going, somebody in that organization might be more important. Now, let me tell you something. I have a driver. I'm the MD of an organization. There are some decisions I make in the car. Maybe somebody just talking, Oga. And that's why I don't like gossip around me, because you're going to influence on it. Oga, do you know? I say, keep quiet. But it can make me form an impression that will make me take it. Now, that's the driver you are rude to. You don't know that as a driver, that's influencing whether you're going to get a pay rise or something. So total practice means everybody in the organization is important, from the gate man to the MD. And we are fond of that thing because you think it's not relevant, but everybody is relevant. Whether you are going to submit a proposal somewhere, everybody along that chain is in. That's total practice. Yeah, then you have to transition from, the general talk, how are you today, well, the weather is cold and all that. Now you need to go to an engaging opening statement. What's an opening statement? You put out a statement that will be attractive to the man right from the start. All right? So have you ever heard about how cancers are caused through processed foods, something like that? You understand? Well, what's the relationship? Now you are beginning to engage. Do you understand? And usually when you throw out an opening statement, make sure it is backed with facts. Hello? I've worked in a very, very, that terrain is the most regulated, the pharmaceutical and the finance. So everything you are doing must have a backing. Don't just say anything. People are wiser today. Before you leave, they will Google it. So make sure you know. So if you are saying this one is caused by cancers and so on and so forth, for example, you could say every 1 hour a woman dies of cervical cancer in Nigeria. That is backed. You can bring out the fact for that, okay? But that will make the man, really? Okay? Then you need to paint pictures. Do you know I saw a woman last month? Yeah. Like when I was a brand manager for the vaccine that is used for human papillomavirus, that's cervical cancer. So I was in a room with some ladies came to do some artwork and some design work for us and so on. And right there, 1, 2, I think there were 5. Then I was there plus another person. I was surprised that out of the 5 ladies, 2 of them said they knew somebody that died of cervical cancer. Then one day I was in my office and I was told one woman was looking for me. I said, how can a woman be looking for me? We don't sell drugs here. Lo and behold, it was a policewoman. She had been diagnosed of cervical cancer 2 years before. She threw away the diagnosis. Now the thing was full-blown. She now was looking for the company that was making the vaccine, not knowing that you can't use vaccine after. So I was counting 1, 2, 3. I said, this thing is more serious. So whenever I did meetings, big meetings, talking to doctors and pharmacists in big meetings and all that I was using that to paint a picture. So bring something that they can relate with, who you know that had that, who used so. Do you get what I'm saying? Paint a picture. Don't be abstract. You don't need to put names and all that. For example, an actress had this complication, or you understand, or whatever it is. Okay? So you bring it, pictures have a way of bringing it closer. Give an illustrative example. Then after you have done that, you have opened now the guy is engaged. So what's the next thing? The next thing is you don't know this person's needs. This is the most critical point of any. In fact, in those days, I managed how many? 35 reps in my career in GSK. Some in the north. I started my career in the north with my wife. I used to carry her from Adamawa to Yola to, all the states in the northeast, I believe. It's interesting now that all this Boko Haram thing, we used to, myself and my wife, we drive on that lonely road for hours, going from Gombe. Yeah, the only place we didn't go was Taraba. From Gombe to Yola, just driving around and so on. But, one thing I did for all the reps I managed until I became a second-line manager as a WER was, this is the area I spend more time on. When you talk to a doctor, I'll be watching you. If you don't get this right, you can't get that call right. You must know the person's needs. And this cuts across all strata of marketing, of product development. Insight is what drives human behavior. Nobody will say, this is the problem. Okay? I was listening to a conversation my wife was having on the phone. So she was, she was supposed to have, their classes in MBA was supposed to resume today and all that. But she was interested in this meeting. So in fact, when I was dressing up in the morning around 6:30 a.m., she just woke up. Sweetheart, you didn't even wake me up. I said, I thought you were going for MBA. So as we were driving down, somebody was calling her and all that. I won't even, so she was somewhat talking against today's training. I don't even mind them. And also, la, 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 la. And besides, I even have a meeting. I said, it's the meeting that's the problem. All this talking against him, he was supposed to send us a reminder. That's not the problem. The problem is, I know you want to be in Pastor's meeting. You want to hear what he has to say. Do you understand? But that came as a result. So people will be thinking, the head of the institute didn't send a reminder. That's not the problem. All right, a company wanted to go into the business of making products for toenails, and they found out that they weren't selling. Then they went to doctors' offices. They found out that doctors were not prescribing. So they thought that was the problem. The problem was that by the time they started finding, you are not likely to end up with an insight until you ask like 5 questions. Why? The real thing is that problem. Until you hit that problem, you cannot make a sale. So what was I talking about? Toenail, all right. So they now started asking questions. They found out that the real reason was that people were shy to bring out their toe. As we are now, you don't like just opening your leg anyhow. So they now said, all right, what do we do? Okay, that's a problem now. So they now developed the strategy around striking up a conversation, making sure the patient is comfortable enough to talk about toenails. And you know what happened to their sales? It went up. Can you imagine if they are now flogging, let's make more banners, let's invite more doctors, let's take them to, you're not solving the problem. All right? Even in pastor member relationship, you need insight. He says that Holy Ghost gives you in the vision of the night. But really, I rarely have visions of our members. I just know certain things. And I to relate with you. You don't even know what I've seen. The same thing with our father in the Lord. You don't even know what. So don't try to be smart around those people. Okay? So, but what am I saying? You first need to ask an insightful questions. An insightful question. An insightful question is not a question of yes or no. That's not an insight. Okay? In fact, the best way we can understand an insight is an iceberg. What you see, they call it the tip of the iceberg. But deep is the problem. That was why the Titanic crashed. They thought, well, we just navigate. They didn't know that thing was okay. So, an example of an insightful question is, tell me, doctor. Oh, why am I using doctor? Anyway, the pharmacist, something is pulling me. Tell me, doctor, the current management of asthma is difficult. How can you tell if your patient is having worsening symptoms? Do you know that he will talk? Not that, doctor, do you see asthma patients? That's not an insightful question. Anything that's obvious is not an insight. That's why we call it insight, inside. But until you bring out that thing, okay? For example, you submitted proposals to this person, you've called him. In fact, he was showing green light. All of a sudden, it was red. You need to find out what's going on. You need to ask certain questions, all right? Then from what the person is saying, this is another skill many don't have. Practicing what? So if there's active listening, there's what? Passive listening. And most of us practice passive listening most of the time. That's why your wife is saying this, you really don't hear what she's saying. Because most communication are what? About 60% non-verbal, right? Body language. All right? So you need to watch out for the clues, or for the cues rather, and now know from practicing active. In fact, practicing active listening means listening to what the person is not saying. You should listen to what the person is saying more than what the person is not saying. More than what the person is saying. Because what the person is not saying is more of the reality. Okay? So, practicing active listening. From there, that is where you can now... Positioning brand benefits. Where is that? Maybe you didn't download that. No. Can you give it to me? Give me the phone. You didn't download that. So the next one, after you have... All right. So let's check the slides, you see. So the next thing, can you see that we have not started talking about the product yet? After you have uncovered the need, all right? So there was a power. Wow. I just finished my training school in Lagos. They sent me to Ibadan. I didn't like it. I wanted to change it. I called, let's go to Ibadan. So they posted me to Ibadan. So I got the profile of a particular doctor. She wasn't just an endocrinologist. Now, I was carrying two products, Levitra and Avandia. Avandia was the drug for type 2 diabetes that they suspended it because of, congestive heart failure or something, well, whatever it was. So that product was another core product of mine. And now, who should I go to? Endocrinologist. Now, the number one endocrinologist in UCH had traveled abroad, okay? So he was on a sabbatical leave. So this number 2 lady, oh man, I was told that the person that was a rep before me never met her, or rather they had clashes because the company did not sponsor her, but chose to sponsor the other one that had gone. So the person you sponsored now has gone. So you are facing the person that doesn't want to even see your company. So I'm talking, yeah. So what I did that day, I knew I had a very slim chance, and that if I missed it, she won't listen to me again. It was a very, well, let me not talk about her too much. So I booked an appointment because I got to know that she's somebody that I respect. She doesn't like you walking into, you don't walk into her consulting room. She hates it. And she can talk down on you. So I already done mine, just to practice call and so on. So I went in there with an insightful question. And thank God for that. It just opened. In fact, one insightful question opened up several packs of that product until I was able to outsell any other person. This was what I said. So, what is it you are looking for in so? All right? For those of you that know diabetes, there's something we call insulin resistance. Insulin resistance means there's insulin in the body, but the body is not making use of it. As if they don't have insulin. They have insulin, but the body is not. So I said, what if there's anything you can do about insulin resistance, something like that? She said, yeah, I'll be interested in hearing about that. Boom. Then I positioned my product. I got her ears because I was able to find out what she was looking for. Okay? So you now, after you know, you now begin to position the first thing you do is you have to translate your features into what? Features tell, benefits sell. Thank God for the features of your phone. Okay? Why did I start doing Apple? And by the way, I take credit for that. I was the one that convinced Pastor Shane to using Apple product. Or Apple phone, rather. He was using MacBook. One day he came to church and he took my, Pastor, let me see your phone. And I saw the way he was looking at it. I said, it's Pastor Shane. He was looking. And the next thing I saw, he had started using. And now he can't go back. You convinced me. No, really, why I liked Apple was not because of 7 or 6 or 5 or what. It was the appeal. I just liked the smoothness and all that. And sleek, yeah, the sleekness and the fact that, you understand. So the benefit to me was I could have something that I like. It's more emotive than, you can do this. It was later I got to know that, it doesn't crash, it doesn't do this. That wasn't, you understand? So you got to learn to translate your features into benefits. So you ask yourself, and so what? He's the one that knows how many processing of giga. I don't know about. And so what? Can you give me an example of that thing? Processing unit, processor, microprocessor. What's my business with that? Can you imagine somebody telling me that you have to buy the new iPhone 12 because that's so processing? So what that means is that you can download files faster. But don't preach that to me if I'm not somebody that downloads files. But if I'm a graphic person like him, I need something that can. So if you are talking to a graphic person, do you understand? So you need to bring that feature of it having microprocessor, whatever your jargons are, bring it down to benefits. So one of the greatest benefits will be convenience. could be easy to carry about. So those things are what people look for, not all the, you understand? All right, so after that, you now need to, any claim you are making, you need to substantiate with what? Evidence. Maybe because I've done this in the medical world, you don't just say anything. You can't go away with anything, no. You don't say things like, this product can cure somebody of diabetes. They can arrest you for it. Right? Because if it doesn't get cured, you have just erased his hope, and you want to kill him. That's what you're doing. And that's why, yeah. And that's why I don't have anything against you more. Then the next thing is you now need to address concerns. When you're addressing concerns, don't try and close a call without addressing concerns. There will always be a concern. Okay? It could be a question. All right? And there's a principle we use for it. It could be a misconception. It could be an indifference. Okay? It could be a limitation of your brand. All right? Or it could be a doubt. You said this, but I don't believe you. Okay? Or I've always believed this thing about what you people do. All right? Or it could be a limitation. I want to do this, but you know your drug cannot do that, or you know you cannot provide that service. That's a limitation. You don't try and be smart and just, you have to acknowledge that one. So for those different kinds of concerns, MILD, we use the mild, that's misconception, indifference, limitation, or doubt. There's a way you address each one. If it's a misconception, all you need to do is correct it, okay? If it's an indifference, did I mention indifference? I is indifference. Indifference means I don't care about your brand. I don't care about what you have to say. There's a way you open the person up with what? Emotive things, all right? Everybody's using it, or he has done this, or share testimonials. If it's a limitation, you have to acknowledge it. You now emphasize the benefit. Our own does not do this, but we can do this. We can do this, all right? So that you magnify what you can do versus, but you don't ever say you can do what you cannot do. Please, 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 brethren, we are believers. If there's anything I ate, and I think people that work with me know that, our integrity, we represent Christ. I was praying this morning, was coming to me. David went against Goliath, not because he liked war that much. Do you know that he was asking for the prize? What will happen to the man? They said the man. Do you know that wealth was involved? He knew he was going to be richer after killing Goliath. So it wasn't just because he liked killing giants. Number 2, they said he's going to marry the king's daughter. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Number 3, tax-free. Can you imagine being tax-free in UK? In the company I was working before, if I gave you my tax every month, you're okay. Or if I packed it in a year and gave it to you, it's breakthrough for some people. So tax freedom. But you know, when David was speaking to Goliath, you know what? He said that all the world may know that God. So even though he knew money was the what? The standard of the law standeth sure. Having this seal, let him the name of the Lord depart from iniquity. So because of the money we make, don't go and do something that will, please. I always said, I don't want that kind of money. Maybe because the Lord has brought me up on faith for a long time. I'm not so, you understand, believe God can move beyond our businesses. I hope you know that. God can give you things without the business. So don't be so, because don't go and say what you cannot do. We say it this way, under promise and what? Not the other way around. So no, we are not talking of, there's integrity. There's also what's the other one? Integrity, ethics, yeah, as you want others to do unto you, yeah, so on and so forth. So please be mindful of all that. Then, so what are the concerns? I've told you the 4 different types of concerns, right? So usually you will not run into a brick wall if you know the kind. There are only those 4. Think about it. Somebody is indifferent. There's a reason why it's indifferent. You need to open him up. So there's a way you open him. All right. So How do you address a concern? The first thing is to acknowledge. All right? So somebody is asking you a question. So thank you very much for that question. Okay? Don't just go, what's, and just, we don't do it that way. That's not professional. Acknowledge. Oh, thank you for that. That means you've been listening. That means you are interested in this product. All right? Let the person feel good. All right? Then the next thing is don't assume you know what the person is asking. Somebody is saying it's expensive. Expensive to him might not mean naira and kobo. It might mean that if I start buying this thing, I will let go of other things that are important to me. So a scale of preference that is in his mind. So when you want to answer that kind of question, you want to ask, are you saying, Ma, that that amount is outrageous or that? So you understand? Probe. That's what we call P, probe. Find out. All right? When you are now sure what the person is really talking about, then you answer. Okay? That's the answer. Then you confirm. Ma, have I answered? There's a good feeling about it. Like you didn't just assume that because I say, oh, that's good. No, confirm. Have I been able to address your concern? Let the person say with his mouth, yes. If it's no, go through it again. Then the last thing is to transit. Leave the question and answer, then go back. When you are going back, what are you going back to do? Ask for what? Commitment. That is simple, but it's the most important part of the call. What do you want? Why did you come here? Do I have your commitment that from now on you are going to be buying my oat for every... Now, it's also better to have a category of people you have already mapped out in your conversation. I'm not saying buy it for everybody. I'm saying buy it for people that maybe are just going through this. You understand? So for this category of patients, do you have your commitment to always prescribe this? Or maybe 50%? Just ask for something that's realistic. Because this mentality of everybody, no. For 5 out of 10, you're going to recommend this or whatever your proposal is about. Ask for what? Commitment. All right? Before you do that, please summarize the agreed benefits. We've been in conversation. You've agreed. So when you're asking for commitment, normally it should be yes. If it's no, that means, so why were you going through all those steps? That's why we say you don't just bring your product and just, you go through that. You already know its need. And if it's true you identify this need and you have met that need with the benefit, not a feature, then it should be yes. Okay? If there's still no, then you go back and find out. Maybe you didn't uncover a need. Maybe what you thought was a need was not a need. Yeah, it happens a lot. It might not be his need. There are some people that you probe, and their problem is your company is not giving me egunje. Really, that's the... Now, that's a limitation for me because my company does not give bribe. But I can use that to educate him that even though we don't give bribes, you can write to my company and we can sponsor you. So why take 15 naira recharge card from me when we can take you abroad? Do you understand? And that you readjust. You say, all right, okay. So when should I come back for the letter to my company? But I'm not promising it's 100%, but it will be considered. He will respect you more than you trying to, do what everybody. You don't need to do what everybody. You can play a neat game. Especially when it's not B2G. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
In addition, there are some ways in which people professionally get around that. There is what we call finder's fee. So you actually integrate it to the terms of trade.
Beautiful.
That, okay, anybody that I engage in the organization or whatever has maybe 5%. So it's already like official.
Beautiful.
So you are not bribing. Beautiful. You say, look, if you're taking so quantity, 5% goes to you.
Yeah.
It is in our terms of trade. We have that. So beforehand, he knows he has a benefit.
Preempted it.
He's not doing it as NGO.
Beautiful.
So both of you know you have a deal.
Beautiful.
And this is the term, and this is the way you are going to be paid. So
Beautiful.
everybody.
Beautiful. Everybody is happy. So thank you very much, sir. So we think global, but we act local. Since we are entrepreneurs, we own this business. So you must look for ways of going around that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you need the wisdom of God to complete that cycle, all right? So ask for commitment, yes. Then the next thing is, now that he has said yes, agree on what? Next steps. When I think Pastor was talking about next steps or something. Who was talking about? So if you don't know what will happen after this, so he has agreed to buy the product. What of the logistics? Who is picking it? Who is delivering it? When should I check you again? And so, okay, yeah. What was it, Pastor? I was talking about follow-up. How one customer can now be an advocate for your. Okay. You were also talking about it. That what did you call it now? The shock from buying something expensive. Purchase this one. In fact, I was telling this woman that, hey, this money I gave this guy. So I'm already now that's follow-up. This more about follow-up. So what do we do after this person has said yes? If you say no, we know we have to go back. Sometimes you don't get a call in, you don't get somebody once, you might need to go back. But even the person that said yes, agree on next steps. All right? Then the next thing is, this is what most people don't do. Analyze yourself too. When you finish that call, sit down and say, what did I do well? All right? Somebody said the reason why surgeons make some stupid mistake is the feel that they know it all. Nobody coaches them. They are the organs of everybody. But a footballer will be coached from the day he moved the scissors from the incision. Just a simple, so sometimes you need somebody to coach you. All right? I run things through him. Okay? There are times he has called me, Pastor, what do you think about this and all that? So coach yourself if there's nobody to coach you. But reflect on the last call you had. What could you have done better? What did you do well? All right? Why was that guy so... Why didn't he take my proposal and all that? So when you do that, you end up being a super sales person. As I said, all these have been researched. And this is what any selling skill you see in the world, these are the backbones. So they might call it something else, but really. So thank you very much. I hope you got something out of that. Thank you, Pastor, for the privilege. Thank you very, very much.